From Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, it's day 2 of the BlueCross Bowl championships. Today, it's the 3A championship, the Fulton Falcons taking on the David Lipscomb Mustangs. Let's take a look at how these two teams got here. They had very tough quarterfinal battles, and then in the semis, they rolled on to Murfreesboro last week. Fulton over Pearl-Cohn and Lipscomb over Dyersburg. Hi everybody, Willie Donick here with you, along with John Gromos to bring you the play-by-play, the first of a triple-header today, and a beautiful winter day for football. So John, it should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and take a look at some big players who will play a big role in this game. First, for the Fulton Falcons, it's been a record-setting year for Dennis Rogan.
Well, there's no question he is the main man. The future Tennessee Volunteers put up huge numbers for his career, 79 touchdowns. He holds several records for Fulton and is approaching a couple more for the state.
He may set a couple more before it's over. Matt Elrod is the leader of the Mustangs.
No question. He's had a great year as well. 20 touchdowns, almost 1,600 yards. He's the key to this rushing game for Lipscomb.
Now let's take a look at our Beeman Pontiac GMC keys to the game. For Fulton, they have the potential for big plays. They need to make some.
Boy, they can score, I think, on every play potentially, and that's going to be a big key for Lipscomb, as well as time of possession. The way to stop those big plays is to hold on to the ball as long as you can, keep that running game going.
So it'll be the Fulton Falcons and the Lipscomb Mustangs for a state title today in Murfreesboro. The opening kickoff is coming up next. Stay with us. It's a beautiful day for football here in Murfreesboro. There will be 3 more state champions crowned. Last night, Jackson Christian and Alcoa took the first 2 titles in 1A and 2A respectively. These 2 teams, Fulton and Lipscomb, have been to the final 4 times in the last 5 years. Each has tasted success at least 1 time. Let's go down and meet the 3rd member of our crew, Rachel Bernard.
That's right. All the focus is on one particular player, Dennis Rogan. He is the tailback for Fulton. This kid is fast. I mean, he's already a UT commitment. Not to mention, he just recently came off of a streak of 19 consecutive 100-yard rushing games. This kid is fast. It'll be interesting to see how David Lipscomb plans to slow this kid down. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Rachel. Dennis Rogan, 2,460 yards rushing, John, and 40 touchdowns. We hinted that there's a couple other records he could set today, and so we'll keep you up to date on that. But he needs only 1 touchdown to tie the single-season scoring record. One thing to take note of, and one of the reasons why he has so many points, is Fulton goes for 2 every time they score. They do not kick the ball.
And that certainly pads some of those scoring stats, but there's no question that Rogan is the guy. Really, nobody stopped him all year other than Knox Catholic held him to 40 yards just a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, he has just been a machine, and it'll be a fun game to watch. This is a really fun Fulton offense. It's potential big plays on every snap.
There is Matt Elrod, who will play a big role in this game. He was the hero in the quarterfinals 2 weeks ago as Lipscomb was on the ropes, down 14-7 to Giles County, before Elrod scored 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to bring him back. A very good crowd on hand. Glenn McAdams, the head coach for the Mustangs. He's been there for a long, long time. Every time I talk to him the week of the championship game, he always says, I say, Coach, you're back again. And he goes, we're fortunate. He's just one of those really humble guys who is all about team. And he is really a joy to be around. One of the classiest guys that you'll find. So he is looking for another title. He last tasted the championship in 2002 when they defeated Mitchell back when Lipscomb was a 2A program. His team did not win the coin toss. Fulton won the toss. They elected to defer to the second half, so Fulton will kick off to Lipscomb.
When Lipscomb has just been a methodical offense all year, mainly getting it done on the ground, over 300 yards per game rushing, led by, as you mentioned, Matt Elrod, but a pretty good supporting cast with Holt and Moneypenny in the backfield as well.
So the Falcons will kick it off. Lipscomb was in this game last year. Fulton was beat by the eventual state champions, Livingston Academy, who knocked out the Falcons. The only time they have not reached this game in the past 5 years. Lipscomb then lost to Livingston Academy here in Murfreesboro, 28-13, on a memorable performance by Wilson Cates. So here's the boot. It's taken by Kevin Davis of Lipscomb. He'll run it out to about the 27, and that's where the Mustangs will take over on their opening drive. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to us today by Best One Tire and Service. For Lipscomb, Davis, Holt, Elrod, They all will get the ball quite a bit. Elrod is the leading rusher. Davis and Holt put up very, very good numbers. Zach Rogers is the main threat. Up front, a very tight-knit veteran unit. Lucas, Doris, Brewer, Forehand, and Hunt. The quarterback is Brad Hunt. And we have a whistle. And a flag is down before we ever get the first play from scrimmage off.
Well, Lipscomb shifts a lot in that time. Fulton just a little anxious to get this thing
Dead
going.
ball. Encroachment. Defense. Still first down.
That is the one weakness of Fulton as we look at Buck Coatney, who has grown up, a member of this Fulton program, 44 years old, been with the program for it seems like at least half of his life, maybe more than that. And he's got his team looking for their third state championship. Their only weakness might be penalties. At times that has been their bugaboo. Lipscomb shifts again on 1st and 5. Hunt hands to Elrod. His first carry, he tumbles over and gets close to a first down. It'll bring up a 2nd and 2 after a gain of 4. Victor Smith on the tackle, and let's take a look at that Fulton defense. Our best one tire and service starting lineup on the defensive side. Antonio Hamilton and Higgins up front. A lot of size. Brandon Winters is an outstanding outside linebacker. And then there's your secondary. Victor Smith will play on both sides of the ball. He's the leading receiver, and he's a good ball hawk in the secondary. 2nd down and a long one. Elrod up the middle, stuffed right at the line of scrimmage, but bounces away. Somehow he gets outside, and he'll get the first down and more. They had him bottled up. I completely lost sight of him, John. Then all of a sudden he popped out of the pile.
Well, you just got stuffed right up the middle, but that's why you got to keep those legs churning and going, and you absolutely keep going until the whistle is blown. You can see absolutely Willie gets kind of lost in the shuffle there, but no whistle. He keeps going, gets a good downfield block by Jeremy Holt and picks up the first down.
Boy, that was about a half a second away from getting whistled for loss of forward progress, but Elrod spins out of there on that second effort and picked up 9 yards on the carry. First down at the 45 for the Mustangs. Brad Hunt, who completed 57% of his passes, hands again to Elrod, and he moves the pile forward. He's going to be close to another first down. Tackle is made by Blake Gildner. But it took several Falcons to get down Matt Elrod there.
When, you know, this offense is very time precision, a lot of fakes, a lot of misdirection. And as we mentioned, Elrod gets the most of the kudos on this, but guys like Moneypenny that you see there and Holt and Davis all participating to making this thing work like a Swiss clock.
Sometimes you have to guess at who's got the ball. There's Brad Hunt, 13 touchdown passes. Kevin Davis is in motion. Elrod has the ball again, and he's got another first down for David Lipscomb inside the 40-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 39 before Victor Smith makes the tackle. We'll take a look from the end zone, John. You can see the hole develop.
And again, just some great trapping up front, a little cross block to get the right angles. And then it's let your senior lean forward and lower his shoulder, the 200-pounder. Certainly can pack a wallop at the end of the play.
Matt Elrod, 7.6 yards per carry to this point in the season. And he has now gone over the 1,600-yard rushing mark. Double shift. It's Ben Lenning and Kevin Davis in motion. And they give the ball outside to Jeremy Holt. And Holt goes tumbling forward after a short gain. He had his legs taken out by Victor Smith, who seems to be going low with all of his tackles. He's going for those ankles.
Vic Smith stepping up from his free safety position. Again, the fake in the middle that time. It appeared that that thing was going to open up a little bit, but Vic Smith lowering his shoulder and bringing down the running back for a nice play. Short gain on first.
So Elrod, Holt, and Moneypenny, we missed his carry, or at least the play-by-play announcer did. He had a 9-yarder. So Lipscomb getting 3 of their running backs into the rotation. Kevin Davis, a 4th man, will get the ball some as well. There's a carry right to the middle. That was Moneypenny. Gets it closer to the first down marker. But this is where the drives get tougher, John. And this is what Goodpasture is, a similar type of offense to Lipscomb. this is where they had problems last night against Alcoa.
As that field gets shorter, the secondary is able to step up because you can't get beat deep. There's no field to do it, so you'll see more of the safeties in the corners step up to make plays, and that's the exact reason why as you approach that red zone, it gets tougher.
3rd down and 5 coming up on the opening drive for David Lipscomb. They've done it all on the ground so far. Here's the carry. Elrod has a hole. He's stopped close to the 1st down marker. He's taken down by Dennis Freeney. And they may have to measure this. Last night, Alcoa, who played Fulton, defeated Goodpasture, who played Lipscomb, 31-3. So a lot of people up in the press box speculating, what does that mean for this game? Because Lipscomb and Goodpasture play each other every year. They tend to be on the same level most years. Fulton, very, very close, of course, to Alcoa. And so a lot of people thinking that Fulton, because of that, has an advantage in this game as Elrod comes up about a half a yard short, if that.
All that,
bring up 4th down.
All that algebra, Willie, if A equals B and C is greater than B, kind of gets tossed out the window, I think, to some extent. When you get to this game, emotion becomes such a big factor in momentum and the kids really getting fired up to play in the state championship game, really is what it boils down to.
So Glenn McAdams will send out his unit on short yardage, 4th and less than a half a yard. He's got Elrod directly behind Hunt. Let's see what the Mustangs elect to do. They give it to Elrod, big hole. He has the 1st down, and a good job to close the gap by Bubba Stokes. If he didn't get there, Elrod looked like he was going to get the full acceleration. But it'll be a 1st down for David Lipscomb.
And we'll see from the near sideline, just a nice hole. Elrod was past the 1st down marker before he even got hit. Cameron Hunt, the right tackle, doing a good job to get a seal on the outside and allow Elrod to pick up that touch, that 1st down.
8 plays, all on the ground thus far for Lipscomb. That is their comfort zone. And that's what they would like to do all day long. Here's the sweep. Kevin Davis has his first carry. He gets a good block on the outside, but then is slowed down. Moneypenny set a good block, but it was a good job by Fulton to shake it off. It was Ken Tyson who got knocked down, then got back up, John. That's what they teach you. That's why they do all those up-down drills in the summertime, which I used to hate when I was playing football.
Absolutely, and Moneypenny actually got too good of a block on the outside. There was a bounce and allowed some separation for the defensive back to come in.
Let's go down to Rachel Bernard.
Staff Sergeant Fabian Garcia is with the U.S. Marines. You and your men have a very special purpose here today.
Yes, we're here collecting toys for Tots. People can come in and bring toys at the open gates, or they can drop a monetary donation.
Are you doing something with the Predators?
Yes, after at the Predators game tonight, we'll also be collecting toys there with the goalie girls and some of the wives and girlfriends of the coaches and players.
So for everybody at home, if you're on your way to the game, just come by, bring an unwrapped new toy to the game. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Rachel, as we saw Matt Elrod pick up a couple of more yards to bring up a 3rd and about 5.5. As Lipscomb is now officially into the booze it and lose it red zone. Right at the 20. We'll be talking about the red zone quite a bit today.
The purple zone, as Lipscomb likes to call it.
And a whistle before the snap, right as it was happening. And this will be a critical call coming up.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 3rd down.
So that'll now bring up a 3rd and long. And so Lipscomb might be thinking about putting it into the air for the 1st time.
10 consecutive rushing plays. We talked one of the keys was time of possession and sustaining drives. You do that by converting 3rd downs. Lipscomb has converted almost 45% of their 3rd downs through this entire season this year.
And Brad Hunt goes to work. Passing formation. He's going to roll and then give it back to Elrod, and he is swallowed up. Nothing doing there. The Falcons all over it. Gang tackled. Bubba Stokes was in on it, as well as Antonio Hamilton from his defensive tackle position.
A lot of misdirection in crossbuck. This time it's a fake rollout to the left, inside handoff to Elrod, and that Fulton defense was not fooled at all. They stepped right up and they knew where that thing was going.
So now that'll bring 4th and 13 up, and Lipscomb will not try a field goal. So they'll need a big play to keep this drive alive. So Fulton has tightened up, and the Mustangs are in danger of turning it over on downs. Hunt rolls. The pursuit comes in and takes him down. Bubba Stokes from the backside ends the drive for David Lipscomb. So Fulton's defense holds, and their offense will come out with a lift.
Boy, that's a great defensive stay that time. You see Bubba Stokes, the big guy, the guy in the middle linebacker. He's only a junior. This is a senior-laden team, but he certainly got in there and made a big play, really switched field position to some extent. Even an incomplete pass, Fulton would have been backed up a little bit further.
So we'll go to our first break. Lipscomb chews up some time, but gets nothing to show for it, and the Fulton Falcons will have it when we come over. The Lipscomb cheerleaders are ready to go. They're hoping their defense can come up with a good stop. Fulton's first play from scrimmage, and they hand it to Dennis Rogan. He'll get the ball a lot today, and he's taken down after a short gain. We'll take a look at the best one tire and service starting lineup. You know about Dennis Rogan and that Fulton offense. Brandon Winters and Victor Smith are also threats. Smith is the leading receiver. And up front, a huge offensive line. A couple of guys over 300 pounds, Riley and Wiley Gatewood. So keep an eye on that. They can move some bodies around. They are enormous.
They've opened up some big holes for that young man right there all year.
Rogan with over 300 carries on the year. Gets it again here. And he gets out across the 45, and he'll be close to a first down as we'll now take a look at our best one tire and service starting lineup for the Lipscomb Mustangs. On defense, they play a 3-4. And there are the guys up front. Donnie Hudson, a key player at the nose guard position. Dale Binkley just made that last tackle. It's a strong linebacking group. Binkley and Lenning, very, very experienced. Mitchell Tenpenny is probably the quickest of the group. And then a very good ball hawking secondary. Connor Prady leading the way. 3rd and short, and a whistle is blown, and we have a timeout. Lipscomb didn't like their alignment, and so they'll take their first timeout of the game. So this is a dangerous area because you want to stop them, but you also, as you said so many times, John, Fulton can score from anywhere on the field.
They sure can, and just a little confusion on the defense that time by David Lipscomb. As you look at Buck Coatney's record, and his 15th season as a head coach, he's done a great job, and he's really got a senior class of kids this year. You know, the last couple years they've played together. I think as seniors, they're 48-7, which is just a phenomenal record. And they've just put a lot of pressure on every defense they've played. I think the wrong personnel by Lipscomb that time, and they didn't have enough people on the field. Only playing with 10 is certainly a bigger disadvantage.
One thing, too, as we take a look at the breakdown of the two schools, the comparison, Fulton a little bit more populated. The Mustangs playing in that 1.8 multiplier that the TSSAA has. Each team has lost only one game. The Falcons lost to Knoxville Catholic early in the year. David Lipscomb lost on opening night to Goodpasture way back in August. Here's the give to Rogan on 3rd and short. He has the first down. You can see the acceleration. He got it easily. And he's into Mustang territory at the 45-yard line. Dale Binkley and Burton Wood made the tackle.
You really be able to see from this angle how the hole opened up. And look at his athletic abilities. He jumps over one of the guys out front trying to get a block for him. I think it was Blake Gildner. But the athleticism certainly shows itself. The speed, the acceleration, it's the entire package.
There you see Mr. Football finalist for the 2nd straight year, but didn't win it. So a lot of people wondered if he'll have a little extra motivation. As they put it in the air, and it's knocked down. Prady almost made the pick. A diving play by Connor Prady to break it up as Jock Stinson put it up for the first time in the game.
Boy, just a great fake play action. His ball was thrown a little dangerously. A great break by Prater, who timed it pretty well, read the quarterback's eyes, dove at the very end, and was fortunate to knock it down. Could have been an interception.
Well, that would have looked good. Looked like the old Jake Scott, number 13 for the old no-name defense, 72 Dolphins. Here's a give to the fullback, and going up for a first down is Bubba Stokes, and he fumbles the football, and it's going to go back to the Mustangs. So Stokes, on his first touch, gets a big carry, and what a momentum turn. He coughed it up, and the Mustangs get it back.
You'll see a wide open hole. Stokes downfield, and as he's going down, his knee not on the ground when that ball comes loose.
And it was Prady that busted it loose at the last minute, and the Mustangs get it back. You'll see Prady coming right there.
Boy, and it was a good hit on the ball, putting it on the ground, and Lipscomb all over it. Good pursuit by the rest of that Mustang defense.
Charles Stevens on the recovery for the Mustangs, and they go back to work on offense, and immediately Jeremy Holt is taken down in the backfield. Great penetration by the Fulton defense on that side of the line. Blake Gildner, number 44, led the way.
You just expect Fulton is going to continue to pressure in the box. You see all the penetration until Lipscomb actually loosens up that defense with some passes or even some passing attempts. I don't think we're gonna see much softening out of that Fulton defense.
There's Gildner, the senior. Is well into the backfield on that play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 17. Mustangs will go to the air. Big rush coming, and down goes Hunt. From the backside, it was 2 players. Jamichael Mathis was one of them, number 42. And he was the lead guy on that sack. 2nd sack of the day for Fulton.
You see Mathis coming off the backside. One of the backs unable to get a shoulder pad on Mathis. Mathis has missed the last couple games because of injury, but is back out there healthy right now, and certainly looked good coming in from the rush on the outside. The senior certainly glad to be back here today.
Terrence Cobb also in on that sack. And Lipscomb has a 3rd and a long, long way. Here's Elrod trying to get a big chunk of it back. Makes a man miss. Gets back across the 20. And so better field position for this upcoming punt. A good gain for Elrod. And that field position is very, very critical, especially when you consider what's happened on these first 2 possessions. Each team moving the ball well.
So Lipscomb unable to take advantage of the turnover. The fumble by Stokes. After 3 plays, will be forced to punt for the first time today.
Ben Lenning is the punter, tight end and the punter, and a linebacker. He does a lot of things for this team, the senior, averaging 35 yards a punt. No rush at all. End over end kick. Let's see what kind of bounce he gets. Not much of one. And the Mustangs will down it at the 45-yard line. So excellent field position for Fulton as they'll start their 2nd offensive possession. The punt goes for 31 yards. No return. And we're in the final minute and a half of quarter number 1. It's going to be a big day of football this afternoon at 3:30. Maryville, also from the eastern part of the state, very close to Fulton, will put their 44-game winning streak on the line against a team from Nashville, the Hillsboro Burros. And then the nightcap, a pair of mid-state teams, Smyrna and Ravenwood, in a rematch of a game played earlier this year. Ravenwood, the defending 5A champions. Of course, Maryville, with 44 in a row, is working on a good streak of state championships. What a team and what a program. Back to work go the Falcons. Here's Rogan, big hole, cuts back, has a 1st down, and he's into David Lipscomb territory, taken down at the 40-yard line by Ben Lenning, excuse me.
It just doesn't take much of a seam for Rogan to get through there. Great angle blocks up front by that offensive line. Take another look at it coming right at you. What a hole. And he accelerates through that so quickly, and those big plays, big gainers all year long for Rogan.
Jack Stinson, quarterback for the Falcons, hands again to Rogan. Rogan dancing and getting extra yards, spinning away, and wow, what a 2nd effort that was. And he'll have another Falcon 1st down. He just wouldn't go down. Mitchell Tenpenny on the tackle.
Down blocking and a nice read that time. Anytime 2 defenders are coming at you, you want to split the difference. And Lipscomb just not doing a good job wrapping up and finishing off the play. They were in great position. That should have been a short gain, and it turned into a 1st down.
Boy, Rogan just refused to go down there. He's 5'11", 183. Not a big guy, but he's got powerful legs. Humphrey in motion, a hand to Rogan. Rogan cuts back and gets about 4 yards to the 25-yard line. The Mustangs bottle him up there. And we have a flag on the play.
Looks like this is going to go against Fulton. Well, you mentioned the penalties, and that has been one of the problems for this Fulton Falcons team, but they just seem to overcome it. This gives them more chances to pick up positive yardage, I guess.
So we'll check the official call here.
We have a hold on the offense. Repeat, first down.
So that'll back him up. And every yard is critical once you get into this area of the field. Both teams have had very good success in the middle of the field as we're inside 1 minute in the first quarter. They'll toss it to Rogan again. And this time, the Mustangs are there. A great play, Evan Webb and Mitchell Tenpenny, the two linebackers on that side. John, we should talk about the 3-4 alignment. What is the challenge for Fulton? I'm sure they haven't faced too many teams. You don't see that in high school very often, the 3-4.
Yeah, you typically see a 4-4, and you know that you've got 2 tackles and 2 ends, and you can get those schemes down. With a 3-4, it allows Lipscomb to walk up one of those linebackers at will, either one of the inside guys or the outside guys, and it just is a lot more unpredictable to get your blocking scheme set up on the front end.
Fulton gets the play off before the end of the quarter, and they probably wish they would have let the clock go out. Ben Lenning tackles Dennis Freeney on the inside handoff, and that will do it for quarter number 1. Each team, some good movement offensively, but no points so far. 3rd and long coming up for Fulton. Holding penalty for Fulton has them in a hole, 3rd and 21. And penalties, John, as we mentioned before, have been a bugaboo.
Absolutely have. Almost 62 yards a game against Fulton.
Rogan wants to throw it. He's going to toss it up for grabs, and it's intercepted. The Mustangs were there. Thomas Scott makes the interception as Rogan tried to throw it back across the field. They set it up with Dennis Freeney taking the snap and then going out for the pass, but Lipscomb was all over it.
Well, you'll see it was botched from the beginning, a soft pitch, and Rogan took his eye off of it. He picked it up off the ground and almost played hot potato with it. He just wanted to get rid of it. As you mentioned, Thomas Scott just in the right place at the right time, makes a good catch.
And Matt Elrod took his legs out as he was catching it, so he had good concentration on the ball as his teammate was coming in. So Lipscomb has it back, their second turnover that they have caused. Now the give to Elrod, and he's hit hard as the Fulton Falcons stop him for a short gain. That time it was Bubba Stokes, who we've called a lot here in this first quarter as we take a look. We start now the second quarter. First quarter stats, no points on the board. Each team with 3 first downs, and you can see nothing doing in the passing attack for either team. But, John, the time of possession is something that you notated in the pregame.
Yeah, the time of possession, obviously Lipscomb needs to hold on to the ball. The first drive, they held it for 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Inside handoff, Moneypenny spins away from one tackler and gets close to a first down across the 35. He may have it. Dennis Freeney makes the stop, but Russ Moneypenny.
There's just so many different people that can hurt you on this Lipscomb side. That time, the reverse inside handoff to Moneypenny, fights through a couple tacklers, picks up some good positive yardage.
8 yards on that. It's been a quiet first quarter, and that's not usually the case. If you can take a look at what these two teams have done throughout the year in the first quarter. Very strange.
Have dominated, just grossly outscoring their opponents, but both come up empty this first quarter.
As Kevin Davis has a wall of blockers on the outside, but wow, did they close the gap quickly. That was Mathis, who came shooting through from that defensive end position. And it looked like a play that was going somewhere, and not for long.
You know, even though Mathis has missed the last couple games, he still leads this team in tackles, in tackles for loss and in sacks. So he was much missed, but certainly contributing as he's back in there today.
And Mathis came flying out there to stop Kevin Davis after a gain of just 1. Up the middle, that's Elrod. And Elrod gets out across the 40 to about the 44. The tackle is made by Dennis Freeney. Gain of 6, so 3rd down and a manageable 4 coming up.
Lipscomb 0 of 3 on 3rd down conversions so far today. And we talked earlier, Willie, that's the way you sustain drives. That's the way you maintain ball possession and time of possession. And it's important for Lipscomb to continue to do that.
3rd and 4, or maybe a long 3. Brad Hunt takes the snap. Goes up the middle, simple play. Elrod tries to drag tacklers across for the first down, and he'll be very close. Let's see where they spot it. It looks like where they're going to spot it, they'll give it to him, and they will move the chains. First down for the Mustangs, and that's a big pickup on 3rd down. So one thing that's got to be something that Glenn McAdams is happy with so far, John, their offensive line is getting things done up front, and that's something that Lipscomb has to have happen.
Sure do, picking up those first downs and continue to convert. And I like the way that Glenn McAdams and his staff are trying to mix it up. It's not only the Matt Elrod show. You got to get Holt and Money Petty and Davis engaged as well.
Hunt gives this time to Holt. Holt cutting back, slashing through to the 50-yard line before he's taken down by Terrence Cobb. Gain of 4 yards on the play for the Mustangs, 2nd and 6.
When Holt has been a big part of this offense, has rushed for over 900 yards coming into this game. Doesn't get as many touches certainly as Matt Elrod does, but you can certainly see by the number of plays, time of possession, it all lines together. David Lipscomb almost 2-to-1 in the number of offensive plays.
Just trying to limit the touches for Dennis Rogan. That's one way to do it. Keep him on the defensive end. Here's Davis. He'll try that sweep again. This time he turns the corner, and he has the first down. Kevin Davis, his best carry. And Ken Tyson pushes him out of bounds, but not before the first down marker is reached.
When these guys help each other out in the backfield, as you see Davis coming around the corner, gets a good block that time by Russ Moneypenny. Gets those shoulders turns, the hip turn to try to get upfield, and finally momentum takes him out of bounds. But that junior has had a great season this year, and he'll be looking forward to getting back next year.
Kevin Davis had 722 yards. He averaged almost 14 yards a carry. Got some carries last year as well in the BlueCross Bowl, so he has some experience. Now an inside handoff to Davis, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage and gang tackled at the 43-yard line. Brandon Winters was the first man there. So Fulton not fooled on that inside reverse.
And you expect Fulton to continue to crowd the line of scrimmage and really take away the inside stuff. I really thought it was going to be very difficult for Lipscomb to get around the edge. Fulton has so much team speed. Buck Coatney calling signals right there, cheering his guys on, wanting to get a stop. But again, this methodical, precision-type offense for Lipscomb just grinding out some time right now.
Already inside 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. The mark it down as a loss of 1. And the handoff this time goes for about a yard, and that's about it. I believe that was Elrod that had it. And Jermichael Mathis once again right in the middle of the action. Mathis has been extremely active. They are very happy to have him back in the lineup. So 3rd and 10 coming up, John, and this is going to be an interesting play call here, especially in this area of the field. Do you feel like you have 2 plays to get this, or if you don't get it, do you punt?
We'll see what they do. I think if Lipscomb can pick up half the yardage here, and you don't have to get it all in one shot, if you can get 5 or 6 at a minimum here, I think it is manageable, and you do go forward in 4th down.
And now a whistle comes in, and Lipscomb will take a timeout. They want to think about this, make sure they're on the right page.
Play clock was down to 1 when that timeout came from the sideline.
Glenn McAdams, seeing that, wants to give him a shot. So when we come back, a big 3rd down and 10 for the Mustangs. We're scoreless. Puts it in the air, looking for Lenning, and this pass comes up short. And let's take a look at the comfort zone for Lipscomb is not through the air. You see the average there, John, and last week in the semifinals against Dyersburg, they only put it up 1 time. They had no passing yards, didn't need to pass.
And there's no reason to when you can get the rushing game going. Rushing over 300 a game is fantastic, and a lot of times when they do have to go to the pass, they've had some wide open guys, but that is certainly the exception more than it is the rule.
So Lipscomb has had 2 double-digit play drives where they've chewed up a lot of clock, but they haven't been able to score on either one of them. And Lenning will be punting here.
Both of the possessions that they've had 2 off of turnovers by Fulton, Lipscomb unable to take advantage of them.
Long count. Lenning takes the snap and will try to pin him deep. Short kick. It's off the side of his foot, but he gets a very good roll, and this one actually will sneak inside the 20. They'll mark it dead at the 18-yard line. So Lipscomb does change the field position. Let's go down to Rachel Bernard.
With Blue Cross Blue Shield, we have Gina Beaver. Now, why is Blue Cross Blue Shield sponsoring TSSAA again this year?
We're a corporate sponsor of the TSSAA because we really feel that sports are a really great way for young people to start to understand the importance of fitness, nutrition, and exercise at a very early age that hopefully they'll continue throughout their lives and lead to a healthier Tennessee tomorrow.
Thank you, Gina. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Rachel. We do appreciate the support of Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Fulton goes back to work on offense. At their own 18, here's Rogan. Swallowed up by the Purple Gang. After about a gain of 1, that's about all. Webb and Binkley. There's a good shot of Dale Binkley. Made a bunch of tackles in last year's championship game when they fell to Livingston Academy. In fact, last year, Livingston Academy came out of the region as we look at the turnover margin for each team. Both teams, and this is what you would expect of teams that make it all the way here.
Absolutely, and actually that swap now, the 2 turnovers by Fulton, kind of transfer that the other way.
I'll get back to that region comment I was about to make. 2nd and 9. Rogan is the deep back in the eye. And they go to the fullback. And rumbling across the 20 to the 21-yard line is Brandon Winters. He gets his first carry of the game. Ben Lenning swallows him up. Region 2, 3A has been the main region that has represented the the eastern part of the state in the Blue Cross Bowl. They've made it every year since 2001. It's Fulton often. Last year was Livingston Academy, who was the 4th seed out of that region. And they made the upsets necessary to get here. But that has been a really, really tough region. And that's where Fulton has been challenged a couple of times this year by Knoxville Catholic. Here's the throw by Stinson. It's over everybody's head. And that'll bring up 4th down. So a decision for Buck Coatney. He is going to have to send his punting unit out on the field. So Jock Stinson fired that one high.
We should mention that Stinson has missed the last 5 games with that high ankle sprain, so he's just trying to shake off a little bit of the rust. He's only a sophomore, too. As a young man that's got a bright future ahead of him, and he'll certainly be missing Dennis Rogan next year.
Dennis Freeney will punt it away. Connor Prady is back deep. Freeney angles it towards the near sideline, gets a good kick away. Prady has to go all the way back to his 35 to get it. Prady spins out of one tackler, holds the ball out like a loaf of bread, and goes down at the 39. He's fortunate that ball didn't come free as Bubba Stokes went down and made the tackle.
That's a great punt.
Boy, big punt by Freeney to help out with the field position.
43-yarder in the air, and it drives.
Now look how he holds it there, John.
He sure does.
Looked like he was about to throw it. Like he's grabbing the strings there. Not sure if he's itching to play quarterback today or what. He's doing a heck of a job from his defensive backfield position. So the purple of the Mustangs takes over at the 39. They go to their workhorse. Moneypenny, he breaks through the first wave, cuts back towards the middle, and he's down at the 39-yard line. A big play by Russ Moneypenny, the junior. He's tackled by Dennis Freeney, but not before a gain of 18.
That's the big play again. Everyone kind of focused on Elrod. This is just a turn it around and handoff. Look at the kick out that time by Elrod, and a good downfield block by Zach Rogers. If he could have held that just a little bit longer, I think he would have gotten around. You see a seal on the inside, a kick out on the outside, get your wide receiver blocking downfield, and that equates to big yardage.
A big first down play for the Mustangs. They have a little momentum. Here's Moneypenny to the other side. Has blockers. Flag is down as he's across the 15 inside to the 14-yard line, but let's check the flag. This one, I think, is coming back. And it is. A holding call against David Lipscomb. So the Fulton fans breathe a sigh of relief.
With just great execution. Obviously, the penalty is not part of that execution, but helmet on helmet, every man for Lipscomb getting a good block.
Holding. Offense. Repeat first down.
So let's see if we can pick up the hold here, John. It's a big hole for Russ Moneypenny.
When it may have been on Elrod on the upper left-hand side of your screen, number 40 holding on number 4, Vic Smith. And I think that one is against Elrod. Of course, they don't let us know what the numbers are in high school.
So you're not sure exactly what the referee saw. And so this will back it up to the 49. 1st and 20. Lipscomb has to get all the way to the 29 to pick up a first down. They'll try Moneypenny. His 3rd straight carry. Second one, of course, erased. And this one tackled for a short gain. Gildner was in there with Winters on the stop. Gain of 2. So now we'll see if the Mustangs can piece together a couple of plays to get back down into scoring territory. They do have a capable kicker, and it's Kyle Lenning. He's 3 for 5, and he's actually made a 48-yarder on the year. They elected not to try a field goal on the first drive, but late in the half here, you wonder if the thinking would be different if they could get down close. 2nd and long. Ball on the turf. Picked up. And on the way to the end zone is number 3, Terrence Cobb, and it's a touchdown for Fulton. Terrence Cobb, a 48-yard fumble return, and Fulton, shockingly, is on the board with 3:22 to go in the half.
Well, we were expecting it to be the Fulton offense ringing up the scoreboard, but instead it's the defense. And you'll see part of that cross-buck offense. The ball gets on the ground. Hunt loses track of where it's at, and Terrence Cobb picks it up very athletically, all in stride, and it's a sprint to the end zone. And the 6-foot, 201-pound junior wins the race and puts the first points on the board for Fulton.
It was a field position game all throughout the first half, but what a big change of events. And you think about that play where Moneypenny gets all the way down inside the 15-yard line, called back for a hold, and then 2 plays later, the fumble occurs, and the scoop and score, as they like to say these days, with Terrence Cobb. A 6'1", 200-pound junior. And now Fulton, we told you, they don't kick. They go for 2 every time. Here's the fade pattern to the end zone, and they've got it. Victor Smith, well done on a beautiful throw by the quarterback, Jock Stinson.
Let's take one more look at that fumble. It's just off the hip of Matt Elrod. As we said, Hunt loses track of it. He gets some help, Cobb does, from some of his guys just screening people, and he takes it to the zone.
Now, what I have to wonder on that play, John, is did Elrod think he was getting it? Was Hunt actually trying to hand it to him, or was he just spinning away and getting ready to hand it to somebody else?
Couldn't really tell right there, but it certainly looked like if Hunt was trying to hand it off, it was a poor handoff. It seemed to hit Elrod on the hip.
And it didn't look like Elrod was looking to
expecting
receive
it. Yeah, I agree with that. It may have been the fake on the inside and kick on the outside. Regardless, Cobb with the 48-yard return. That's a great big play right there.
So Fulton with the big play. Cobb was able to take a mistake and turn it immediately into a touchdown. He showed great acceleration after he picked that ball up.
Obviously, Buck Coatney pleased with his defense making a play. There's all kinds of great statistics to look at. One of them that was interesting to me is Lipscomb is 5-5 when the opponent scores first. And obviously Fulton drawing first blood, not only scoring, but then the 2-point conversion just changes the dynamic of the game. And Lipscomb always kicks their extra points. So that 2-point deal right there was a big conversion.
And that is an interesting thought. Later in the game, if Lipscomb scores, do they try to match Fulton by going for 2? Moneypenny is deep. Rogan will kick it. The straight-on toe job. And here's the catch by Davis. Kevin Davis brings it up straight through the middle. He's hit at the 25 and falls forward. And so now the Mustangs will go back to work on offense with now 3:14 to work with in the half. Tackle is made by Riley for Fulton.
20-yard return to the 27-yard line.
Still plenty of time, though. Lipscomb does not get him in as big a heaps and as quickly as we look at some of the carries per yard, I should say.
A lot of plays for the Mustangs. So they've had the ball. They've done what they wanted to do as far as playing keep away. Hunt gonna throw it, goes short. Elrod makes the catch and drags Tyson forward towards the first down marker. And he goes out of bounds with 3:08 to play in the half. The first completion for the Mustangs today.
We talked about turnovers a little bit earlier and turnover conversions and putting them into points. Obviously Fulton taking advantage of the turnover, putting 8 on the board as a result of it. The 2 Fulton turnovers have led to no points by Lipscomb, and that 2-point conversion will be big.
2nd and short, gain of 9 on that play. Lipscomb showing a split backfield for the first time. Moneypenny makes the first man miss, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and falls forward. Higgins in on the tackle, but let's see where they mark this. This will be very close to a first down on the second effort.
Our audio guy's doing a good job down there. You can just hear the hits out there, helmet on helmet, a lot of contact, especially up the middle.
So they do give him the first down. He didn't get it by much, but he picks it up, and now the clock begins to run at 2:37. One big play, the difference in this game so far, if you're just joining us, the fumble return by Terrence Cobb. First down, Mustangs. Hunt wants to throw. Has time, throws short. Elrod bounces off of Freeney and gets out towards the 50-yard line. He'll be close to another first down for David Lipscomb. Elrod did a nice job after the catch there.
We talk about how important it is to wrap up. Contact is good, but unless you can grab and bring them down, as you see Hunt rolling to the left, throws it a little late out in the flat. Freeney unable to wrap up. Elrod picking up the extra yardage, stays in bounds, and the clock continues to tick.
First down, clock near 2 minutes, only one timeout left for Lipscomb, so keep that in the back of your mind. Elrod, a productive first half. They pitch it out to Davis. Gets a big block, 2 blocks on the outside, and turns the corner for a good gain of 6 on first down. They're into Fulton territory again. This is the 3rd time that they have driven in to Fulton territory. They're looking for their first points.
Watch coming around the corner, Willie, on the left side of your screen. Just a great block, cutting off the inside pursuit, allowing Davis to get around the corner.
But once again, it's Mathis is the one guy that Lipscomb doesn't seem to be able to account for on that play when they sweep it. They have all the blockers out there, but Mathis seems to be quick enough to blow it up. Now a pass, a fade route, looking to the outside for Rogers, and a nice pass breakup is made by Derek Humphrey. Well defended. It was Humphrey and nobody else for Fulton. Zach Rogers, the intended receiver.
You'll see it coming right into your living room. A nice, well-thrown ball. Just a good defensive play by Humphrey, who's got 4 interceptions this year. Another look at it. It was good position by the defender, using his body to push off a little bit without drawing the penalty, using the outside hand to knock the ball down without interfering.
A nice play by the 6-foot junior, Derek Humphrey, breaking it up on Zach Rogers, whose older brother Austin is a Tennessee Volunteer, was a very good player for David Lipscomb High School. Straight drop for Hunt, wants to screen it, does to Burton Elrod, or make it Matt Elrod. That's Matt's brother, Burton. And Elrod has another positive gainer. He has another first down, and he's out of bounds at the 36-yard line with the clock stopped at 1:09. His older brother, Burton Elrod Jr., was a great quarterback for Lipscomb, led them to a state title back in 2002. He's now in college. And here's his younger brother, Matt, doing a great job in this first half. He's doing it on the ground with 12 carries for 46 yards, and that's his 2nd catch of the first half. Making his 3rd catch. 3 catches for 30 yards. So now Lipscomb knocking on the door again. Another straight drop for Hunt. Rolls out, running out of time, and he is stripped of the ball. It's loose. The Mustangs have it back, but it's going to be a big loss as the pocket collapsed. Terrence Cobb once again coming in and stripping the ball.
And just pressure right off the snap as Hunt is looking left, forced left, and a great job of knocking the ball down. Hunt takes a big hit at the end of the play, but it's Benjamin Seaman who was doing a good job staying with the play, fell on the ball to maintain possession for Lipscomb.
Yeah, Benjamin Seaman, a very alert play to find that ball. But now the clock runs with 25 seconds, and Lipscomb is in trouble here if they want to score. They'll have to hurry. They roll the pocket out. Here comes Mathis. He has a hold of Hunt, and Hunt has to throw it away. And with 13 seconds left in the half, it'll be 3rd and a long way to go.
And I think this is where you just turn around. There's a late penalty flag thrown on the far sideline as Hunt looks over to see what happened. Sure, for some contact after the play.
It looks to be tossed in the area where Hunt was driven out of bounds after he threw the ball.
Going on to Marin Hopkins. Tell us what's happening.
We have an intentional grounding. Offense. Loss of down. Offense. Third down.
Boy, that's a tough call. Hunt just trying to avoid a sack here, and who else but JaMychal Mathis bringing him down. Hunt throwing it out of bounds. As he's getting dragged down, that ball obviously floated away, but it was Jeremy Holt in the vicinity on the sideline. Obviously, the officials saw something a little differently than we did there, but I thought that was a clean play.
Either way, it'll be third and a long, long way, and they will probably just take a knee here, go to the half, and be done with it. The question is, will Fulton force them to punt it? Hunt's going to hand off to Holt, and that'll bring up fourth down. And Buck Coatney does want a timeout. He is going to force Lipscomb to run one more play with 3 seconds left in the half.
Why not? Those timeouts don't do you any good in the locker room, and if you have a chance to get one of your return guys, a guy like Freeney or even Rogan back there, you just never know when those big plays can happen.
So Fulton suddenly, despite, they must feel like they haven't had the ball the whole half, but at the same time they have an 8-0 lead, and they have to feel good about where they are. Their defense is really tightened up once Lipscomb has gone into the plus territory.
And it's a 10-minute differential on time of possession, which is just amazing. We talked about how important that was. As you see, Buck Coatney wishes that he had some more snaps on offense, but sees an opportunity here at the end of the half. Of course, Lipscomb got the ball to start this game, so Fulton will get it to kick off the third quarter.
Lipscomb here really doesn't need to punt it away. They probably can snap it and then just stall for a second or two and then take a knee and be okay.
Yeah, I think, you know, as soon as the knee goes down, the play stops or the clock stops. And so I think you're right, Willie, what they may be talking about, and not even line up in the punt position, just take the ball and run around for 3 seconds and fall down.
Just the focus here is to avoid disaster. And now Fulton takes another timeout. I guess they were expecting Lipscomb to punt.
This first half was going too quickly, I guess, so I thought go ahead and work in another timeout.
Lipscomb, champions back in 1994 at the 2A level, and then again in 2002. Have lost 2 finals since then. In 03, they were defeated by Huntington, 48-14. A tremendous performance by Huntington in that game. And then last year in the 3A games, we mentioned Wilson Cates of Livingston Academy stole the show and ended up a great Cinderella season for Livingston Academy. They won 28-13 here. There's Glenn McAdam. As we mentioned before, he's been running the show for a long time. 29th season as the head coach for Lipscomb. You've seen a lot of these games, and the years go by. We say this every year. The uniforms look the same, the players change, but the team always carries themselves very well, very disciplined. They run the same plays. I was talking to Matt Elrod. He and his group of guys who are seniors, juniors, they've been together since the 6th and the 7th grade, running the same plays. They could probably do it in their sleep. So here is the final play of the half. Let's see what Hunt elects to do. They're just going to run a running play. And here's Moneypenny. Moneypenny knocked out of bounds at the 50-yard line, and that will do it for the first half of play. So Lipscomb keeps the ball, has the edge in the total yards, but the one big turnover and the fumble recovery for a touchdown by Terrence Cobb is the difference in the game. It's an 8-0 lead for Fulton, and let's go down to Rachel Bernard.
Coach, your defense was really big in the first half. What are you going to do to step up the offense in the second half?
Well, you know, I think our defense needs to make some adjustments too. I mean, you know, we've given up some yardage, and you know, we've been a little bit. We hadn't break, but you know, we're going to make some adjustments at halftime with our offensive line and our offense, and we'll be all right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Buck Coatney, confident, bend but don't break. A good way to put it. As his team shuts out Lipscomb in the first half, despite giving a lot of ground. Some good pass rushes certainly helped. We'll be back with our Better Living Patio halftime report in just a moment.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paul Jones down on the field here at Floyd Stadium. We are at halftime of the 3A title game. The Fulton Falcons on top of David Lipscomb 8-0 is the score right now at halftime. And really, the Falcons were beneficiaries of one botched play, but also victims of another. Let's take a look at some of the two key first half plays. And on Fulton's first drive, they were on the move when Bubba Stokes, well, unfortunately for them, he coughs it up. Charles Stevens recovers for Lipscomb. That Falcons drive that was on the move was thwarted. But late in the first half, it's a botched handoff by Brad Hunt for the Mustangs. Terrence Cobb more than happy to scoop it up and take it back the distance. 48 yards for what have turned out to be the only points of the first half here in the 3A state title game. We're going to have a lot more to go here at halftime down at Floyd Stadium. But right now, let's take a break. Again, the score, 8-0. Fulton on top of Lipscomb here at Floyd Stadium. For the 3A title game, Fulton Falcons on top of the David Lipscomb Mustangs, 8-0. Once again, we are joined by the director of the Governor's Highway Safety Office, Kendall Poole, and you're back for another day of great high school football, aren't you?
This is a great atmosphere, and the Governor's Highway Safety Office is very, very pleased to be a partner with the TSSAA in the football championships, Paul.
Tell me about this partnership. Why is it so important for you guys?
Well, we do athletic partnerships across the board. You've seen Booze It and Lose It and Click It or Ticket at the Titans, the Predators, the Cats, University of Tennessee, University of Memphis, and it was just a natural fit for us to take that message and bring it to the high school level with the TSSAA. So we began the partnership last year with the high school basketball state championships here in Murfreesboro and then the spring fling, and now this is our first year of sponsoring football.
Such an important message, isn't it, Kendall?
It is. The mission of the Governor's Highway Safety Office is to save lives, and Governor Phil Bredesen and I really want to encourage all Tennesseans to make good choices and buckle up and drive responsibly.
Really such a simple thing to remember, and yet many of us sometimes forget.
We do, and we need to remember that 41% of fatalities across the state of Tennessee are alcohol related, and that's why we do the Booze It and Lose It message all across the board. And it's not just athletic marketing, but it's our partnerships with law enforcement. We have 415 grantees across the state who are either academic or law enforcement related, who actually implement programs in their communities to do that. And I tell you another great example of that, Paul, in our partnership with the TSSAA is they've actually entered into a grantee partnership with us where we grant them money, and Steve Bargatze, who heads up the right team for the TSSAA, now takes his message into all the high schools across the state, and his message is about making the right decisions, and it was very easy to incorporate the Booze It and Lose It and Click It or Ticket message with those same students.
Such a great partnership, Kendall, and I know everyone appreciates all that you do, and thank you so much for being with us at halftime.
Well, it's a beautiful thing for us to be able to help sponsor this, and good luck to all the teams and all the communities across the state.
Yeah, we have so much more ahead. In fact, coming up, it's the 4A title game between Maryville and Hillsboro. And you know, there's so much excitement at Hillsboro High School as the Burros get set for this Class 4A tilt. Many of the green and gold have shaved their heads as, I guess you would say, sort of a team bonding thing for the big occasion. What about it, guys?
It feels real nice, and it's not so hot, and the helmet, you can wear it a lot better. So.
Turn around for me. Give me your best Mr. T.
I pity the fool. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I thought I wouldn't look too right with a mohawk, so I just decided to go with the design on our helmet. So that's just what I went with.
Check out the reverse angle. Nicely done. Now that is a super cut. You know, speaking of close shaves, we've got a close one here in the 3A title game. Halftime between Fulton and Lipscomb. It's 8-0 Falcons on top here at Floyd Stadium. We're going to take a break. Back with Riverdale head coach Ron Adelot after this break. Some of the first half highlights. Early on defense, the name of the game.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, Fulton obviously has the quickness and the speed edge. Lipscomb's doing a much better job of running the ball straight at them instead of trying to get up on their perimeter.
Bubba Stokes looked like he had something going right here, but then the fumble. Charles Stevens recovers for Lipscomb. That thwarted the Falcons' drive, but then later a miscue by Lipscomb turns into this point.
Yeah, that's a huge momentum breaker there for Lipscomb. They were controlling the clock and doing a very good job of keeping keeping Rogan and Fulton off the field, but that was a critical mistake, and that kind of turned the momentum, and they're going to have to regroup this second half.
Falcons get the 2-point conversion, and that's where we are, 8-0 at the half. Coach, let's look at these first half statistics. What jumps out at you as you see the numbers?
Well, again, it's the time of possession that Lipscomb has. I mean, they're absolutely controlling the clock. They just got to finish. It's kind of like Goodpasture last night. They're not able to finish their drives. And, you know, again, they're going to have to do that in order to win this football game.
What if you're Glenn McAdams, what are you telling the Mustangs right now?
Well, I think he's got to be fairly happy that a team with this much speed, that he's still in the game, and you know, it's this close. He's still one score away. But he's also, you know, he's pounding in their head. They've got to finish drives, and they got to continue to contain Rogan and not let him loose.
Yeah, somewhat of a moral victory there, knowing that Rogan has not reached the end zone yet.
Well, and you know, he started out hot, but they calmed him down, and you know, I'm sure that Fulton's in there going back and saying, how did we have him breaking loose at level 2 and level 3 in the first half? So they'll have to go back and do some drawing. But I gotta feel like Lipscomb and Glenn feel pretty good about it right now.
You get a chance to see some of those haircuts from your former players at Hillsboro. They got a little carried away, didn't they?
Well, absolutely. I'm sure they're excited today, and I'm excited for them, so it ought to be a great game. The 4A game should be a great game.
Dare I ask for a prediction, Coach?
Well, you know, I pull for the green and gold because those are my kids, or used to be my kids, and but I would never bet against Maryville. I think it'll be a great game, maybe a toss-up.
Yeah, that will be a great game, and right now we have a great game here in the 3A state title game. Halftime between Fulton and Lipscomb. 8-0 is the score. The Falcons on top. We're back with second half action.
Some good defense up the middle to shut it down.
There is Terrence Cobb, who scooped and scored for the touchdown. Let's check in with the Mustang locker room during the half. Here's Glenn McAdams.
When your eyes come down, you go back up, or you're going to score an interception. So you got to keep your eyes down the field and field the rush. And when you got somebody that's even with somebody moving, go ahead and throw the ball to them. They're not going to be wide open. Okay? So I need you to do that. And I just need to make a little better decision.
Talking about his quarterback there, John, Brad Hunt, because Fulton has had a very good pass rush on him.
They have, and you know, it's interesting, they're talking about the passing game, which would indicate they realize the running, it's tough yardage running against this Fulton defense. They're going to have to go through it through the air.
So Fulton will receive the second half kickoff. And here's more from Rachel Bernard. Oh, we don't have Rachel yet. We'll get that in a moment as Fulton huddles up. They will get the first half kickoff, or the first kickoff of the second half. Mustangs coming back onto the field. So an interesting second half. Now let's go down to Rachel Bernard. She's ready with Glenn McAdams.
Coach, how do you plan to contain Rogan?
Well, I think our defense has pretty well. I thought our defense played very well. They scored off of a mistake of ours. Our biggest problem is their defense. We're having very big problems with trying to block them. They're just so quick, our kids are having trouble with that. But our defense is playing about as well as we play right now, actually.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, he said the right things there. I mean, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. This defense has done a good job. They've caused 2 turnovers, John. It's just been a matter of being able to finish those drives when they get down into the plus territory.
Well, and Lipscomb had 2 good long drives of over 10 plays apiece, but just unable to capitalize and put points on the board. And he talked about that tough, quick defensive line by Fulton, really led by Jamichael Mathis. I think he's really played, or Mathis, I should say, has really played well and disrupted a lot of those plays in the backfield.
So we'll be set for the second half kickoff in a moment. Fulton looking for their 3rd title in 4 years. Back in 03, they defeated Covington 36-9, and that one was really a runaway. They won that one very easily. In 2004, they defeated Greenbrier 34-5. That game was closer than the final score would have indicated. Fulton ran out in the final quarter to make it a lopsided game. Greenbrier hung around for a good while in that game back when they had Roger Herndon. So Buck Coatney looking for his 3rd title in 4 seasons. This Fulton team, of course, a lot of tradition, a lot of great players. They have great involvement with their alumni, with the program. Buck Coatney, of course, is a graduate from Fulton. Almost all of the assistant coaches have a connection with Fulton. There's some famous Fulton Falcons from the past. Dallas Cowboy D.D. Lewis. John, that was when I first started watching NFL football. D.D. Lewis was that middle linebacker for those great doomsday defenses of Tom Landry.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's some great young players on this Fulton team right now. Of course, we talk about Rogan is going to be, he's committed to UT, and certainly will have a great career over there, I'm sure. Very exciting young runner. I've been impressed, even though he hasn't picked up big yardage, big gaping plays. You can certainly tell the athleticism and all the tools are there for him.
Dennis Rogan, 8 carries for 41 yards in the first half. So he was contained fairly well. I think you'd take that every time if you're Glenn McAdams, even though he's averaging 5 yards a carry. Bubba Stokes had the 18-yard carry and then fumbled it on the play. For Lipscomb, Matt Elrod, 12 carries for 46 yards, as we showed you. And then Russ Moneypenny, 9 carries for 61 yards. And he had another run that was 20-plus yards. It was called back for a key holding penalty. And if Glenn McAdams could have one play back, that might have been it. We take you back to the first half. Lipscomb ran consecutive running plays to Moneypenny. He got 22 yards on one, and then he got about the same on another, had the ball down to the 13-yard line. It was called back for a holding penalty. And then 2 plays later is when the fumble occurred on the exchange from Brad Hunt, and Terrence Cobb scooped it up and ran 47 yards for a touchdown. So a big, big swing of 2 or 3 plays completely turned the momentum in this game. Meanwhile, through the air, not much happening for either team. Matt Elrod has all 3 receptions for David Lipscomb. Stinson has only put it up in the air twice, although he did complete the 2-point play on the conversion. Rogan is the up back, and he snags the squib kick. And he's down at the 33-yard line. Good coverage by the Mustangs. They must have panicked when they saw Rogan get that one cleanly.
I don't think that was the game plan to kick it off to Fulton as an up back. And Fulton unable, I'm sorry, that Rogan unable to really make anything happen out of that. A decent field position to start this first drive.
Daniel Doris made the tackle for the Mustangs, and the Falcons will go to work. A very important opening drive. If they can widen the gap here, they'll feel very good about their chances, the way their defense is played. Lipscomb, with their offense, usually not a big play offense. They're a grinded-out team. They need to take a long time to score. So if you can get up by 2 scores against them, that's a big, big key. Here's Rogan. You look for him to get the ball a lot in this second half. Mustangs do a good job there, gang tackling. Donnie Hudson, the nose guard, plugged up the hole. Dale Binkley finished him off. There's a good look at Donnie Hudson, a senior, 250 pounds. And John, in this 3-4 defense, the nose guard plays a big role.
Absolutely. He usually gets double teamed, but the key is just to occupy some space and take it up in there. But I tell you what, when you look at the other side of the ball, that interior line left to right, 298, 308, 311 for Fulton is just huge for high school.
Tough challenge for Hudson with that size. Here's Rogan. They test him again, and Rogan gets out close to a first down at the 47-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 1. Mitchell Tenpenny, the quick outside linebacker, makes the stop.
You see, again, just good seal blocks, just position angle blocks. You really don't have to blow anybody off the line of scrimmage. If you can just shield them with your body, create just a little bit of a seam there, Rogan is going to get through there and pick up yardage.
I don't think I've ever seen a team that has a Tenpenny and a Moneypenny on the same team. Which is worth more?
I'm guessing Moneypenny, but I'm not sure.
3rd and 1, Rogan. Good hole. Into the secondary and across midfield for a first down carry. Connor Brady had to come up from his safety position to make the tackle. A gain of 11.
It's a good conversion on 3rd and short. Only 3 opportunities on 3rd downs for Fulton in the first half. And this is exactly what Fulton wants to do, is eat up some of their clock when they have the ball. A good, long, sustained drive. And should they be able to get up a little bit more, it really will put a lot of pressure on the passing game and the offense of Lipscomb.
Not much creativity, very simple. Running behind the 2 300-plus pound linemen, Riley and Wiley Gatewood on that right side. Now they'll go left side. He cuts back to the right, and Rogan is wrestled down. Ben Lenning grabbed him by the jersey and slung him down at the 45. Gain of just 2.
And Rogan has maintained, I think, some patience. He's got to be frustrated. He's used to really getting out of the gate and racking up huge yardage out in the middle of that field, open running, and just unable to do it. As we look at his numbers today, there's 12 rushes, just over 5 yards a carry. 14 is as long as probably his, you know, at this point of a game, he's got many 14-yard carries typically.
9 1.5 minutes to go. Rogan has all 22 of the yards on this drive. Rogan will try it again, and the Mustang Purple Gang with a good job to stop him for no gain there. Binkley and Lenning on that left side of the Lipscomb defense comes up with a good stop.
Well, you got to give credit to Lipscomb. They have really stepped up and gotten it done, stuffed the inside. There's been a couple of breakdowns where Fulton has picked up some big yardage, but for the most part it's been bend but don't break.
So 3rd and 8 coming up here. They've been very simple giving it to Rogan on every play. Let's see what they do on this one. Stinson looking, fires, has a man, and Freeney makes the catch. A big catch on 3rd down by Dennis Freeney. And Jock Stinson put it right on the money.
Boy, the first completion for Fulton in the passing game today comes at a great time, and a good strong throw from the far hash, throwing it to the near sideline, going up the air. Freeney does a good job. Look at that vertical leap right there, just going up and bringing it down. Good possession that time to tuck it in and make the catch.
Excellent execution for a gain of 22. Here's the pitch out to Rogan. He fakes the reverse, and coming that way, a flag is down. Looked like a hold on the outside or an illegal block, one or the other, and it was Victor Smith who was trying to spring Rogan on that far side. So this will back up the Falcons.
We talked about a penalty-prone team that Fulton has been this year. Really not too bad, and they're going to call a block below the waist on Fulton. I believe it was on Vic Smith on the fake reverse.
There's Buck Coatney shaking his head. He wants his team to cash in on this drive after that big pass completion.
We have a block below waist. Repeat 1st down.
And it may have happened on the interior of the line. Bunch happening. May have been on the center that time, Sean Riley.
That was one possibility, and I think the flag came in on that far side on Riley's block, or excuse me, on Smith's block. Either way, long way to go here. 1st and 26. They swing it out to Smith, and Smith gets some of the yardage back as he gets inside the 30-yard line. So that's a good 1st down play. Victor Smith is the leading pass catcher for the Falcons with that 19-yard average. And so that's a very positive play on 1st and 26. Now it's a manageable 2nd down at 2nd and 14. That penalty really was costly.
Stinson showing some arm strength. 2 passes he zipped well across the field. Thomas Scott with a good open field tackle for Lipscomb to bring Smith down.
They fake it to Rogan. Under some heat, Stinson throws it just behind his receiver. Mathis tried to make a great catch. He reached back for it and almost pulled it right off of that turf. Speaking of the turf, John, we talked about this last night, but it's a new field here at Floyd Stadium with the new field turf, and it's much more manageable for teams that don't play on it at all. It's much better adjustment for kids that play on grass. Last year, and I talked to Glenn McAdams about this, he felt like a lot of his players just didn't make a very good adjustment to playing on the carpet.
Yeah, this is a much more natural feel, and that shot you saw looks a little dirty down there. That's actually those rubber pellets, those ground up tires that kind of give some of the base and some of the give. So when you plant, you know, the thing against the turf was that it was so hard on the knees. This gives a little bit better.
On 3rd down, the pass is intercepted. Picked off by Rogers. And Zach Rogers gets the ball back for Lipscomb, and he takes it out to the 25-yard line. Zach Rogers made a great play on the ball. He broke perfectly on it, and he gets it back for the Mustangs. The 3rd turnover forced by David Lipscomb.
Stinson had 2 nice completions prior to this one, just a straight drop back. Had plenty of time, plenty of protection. One of his linemen actually got in the way a little bit, but this ball just hung up in the air a little bit, and it was a great break by Rogers.
So a big momentum shift for the Mustangs, and they'll have the ball when we come back. 8-0 Fulton here in the 3rd. So Lipscomb gets the ball back after their 3rd forced turnover. They trail by 8 as we go down to Rachel Bernard.
I've got John Hill, and he is our Crystals fan of the game. So where does all your spirit come from?
My spirit comes from this beautiful cheerleader.
Well, he kept it simple. He derives the spirit from the cheerleaders. You gotta like that. Moneypenny gets it started for Lipscomb on first down. And he picks up a gain of 5. Blake Gildner picks up the tackle. Moneypenny, the most effective Mustang running back in that first half.
Over 60 yards, he really was the answer to get some things going. He had that long run at 22 yards, had the other one called back, but Lipscomb with the ball back now, wanting to eat up some clock, but they've got to put some points on the board.
They've moved it in the middle of the field very effectively. Here's Elrod, and he is nailed. A loss of 2 on the play. Brandon Winters met Matt Elrod as soon as he took the exchange.
Well, there aren't many times that Elrod goes backwards, but just great contact. It almost looked like he didn't have the ball cleanly off of that exchange, and we saw that was a problem in the first half that led to that first scoop and score. I like that, Willie. I may have to use that a little bit.
Well, I picked it up from, it seems like every national broadcast they're talking about the scoop and score these days, so I figured I had to join the club. Meanwhile, 3rd and 8 coming up here. Buck Coatney, if you heard his halftime interview with Rachel, he sounded very confident that if they made a couple adjustments, they'd have good success in the second half. Tosses it out there, and a great catch by Kevin Davis. Did he hold on to it? No, he juggled it at the last moment, and he actually had it stripped by Victor Smith, who hit him right as he was trying to gather it in. You could see it, John. He had it in his hands. It looked like he was going to pull it in, but then Smith had the big collision.
Here's a good look at it. Here is Hunt avoids some pressure, floats it out there. Looked like he had it. That was very close. A big hit at the end of the play, knocked it loose. They call it incomplete, and it forces Lenning to come out to punt again.
And it was going to be right at the first down marker. So Davis just couldn't hold on. Lenning, you get a good look at him. Punt formation. Lipscomb needs a good kick here. And he spirals it pretty well. This one angling towards the sideline and bounces out of bounds at the 43. So that punt will go for 31 yards. No return. And Fulton will take over.
So Lipscomb 3 and out on their first offensive possession of the second half. Fulton obviously sticking to their knitting and just really playing tough defense in the middle of that field.
Let's take a look at one of those big offensive linemen that we've been talking about. There is Charles Riley Gatewood, or Wiley Gatewood. The guy next to him is Sean Riley, so don't get Sean Riley confused with Charles Wiley Gatewood. 6'6", 311, and his sister, Today, Riley Gatewood plays for the Lady Vols under Pat Summit. And here's a good carry. Out goes Winters, who just made a big tackle on the defensive end, and Winters has a big first down carry on the offensive side for that fullback. You know, they hit you with Rogan so many times, John. When they do go to the fullback, it's a great changeup.
And I think it's a great call. Rogan unable to get things going. Still Lipscomb keying on him everywhere, so go ahead and slip it to the fullback. You'll see just an inside handoff, good seal blocks from the outside. And that's just running downhill, picking up yardage.
Chase Kennedy did a good job of setting up the whole wall from the backside on that cutback. Now here's Rogan. They go back to the bread and butter, but the Mustangs swallow him up. Nice play there. Donnie Hudson from his nose guard position making the tackle.
We've called his name a couple times today, the senior anchoring that interior defensive line that we talked about. Got the torn jersey and all.
Charles Stevens, good look at him on the opposite defensive end side. Defensive line for Lipscomb hanging tough so far against that huge offensive line. You mentioned Wiley Gatewood at 300 plus. Riley is 300 plus. James Higgins is very light at 298. And here's a wild play, but they blow it dead before it happens. The flag is down.
Wow, that thing shot out of there like a rocket.
Boy, you wonder what in the world was going on there.
What a break for Fulton that this play gets called dead, because you'd like to think that snap would have happened one way or the other.
We got to get a look at this snap. Now, this play is not going to happen because they blew it dead before.
Dead ball, false start, offense. Still second down.
That might be one where Buck Coatney is very happy to take the 5-yard penalty there. Now, what happened here, John? This is coming right out of the end zone here.
Well, I'm not sure. You can't really see if the ball slipped out of the center's hand, Sean Riley, or not, but there's no chance that Stinson had a shot at that one. A little different angle right here. Boy, it just, bam.
I'm not sure if Riley thought it was a punt or what, but he fired that thing out there. Here's Rogan cutting back, trying to get a few yards back, and does. So this will bring up a 3rd and long, as Mitchell Tenpenny was able to corral Rogan. So now it's a 3rd and 7 coming up. So another big play. Remember, Fulton does not have a kicking game. They do punt it, but in this area of the field, especially with the lead, I'm thinking they're in 2 down. They will use 2 plays to get the 7 yards if they need.
4 down territory, absolutely. As we look at Rogan, still throttled down, only 72 yards, 16 carries.
Throw it out. And here's a nice looking play. Freeney has the first down, tries to wriggle out of a couple of tackles, and gets down to the 24-yard line. So a solid play by Fulton to pick up the first down. A good play call. It seems like they've saved a couple of these pass plays for the second half, and they've used it in this situation well. Stinson put it right on the money.
Just zip it out there, and nice run at the end of the play. Almost lost the ball with contact at the end. That is a good positive play for Stinson to get a completion and get Freeney loose in the secondary.
Clock down to 3.5 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Stinson gives to Rogan. Rogan going low into the pile and pushing it forward. Donnie Hudson helped bring him down. 16 yards on that last play from Freeney, and then 5 more for Rogan. That'll enter the Falcons into the booze it and lose it red zone with that 8-0 lead. Lipscomb has to try to find a way to keep him out of that end zone. Shotgun formation. Rogan takes the handoff, goes near side, runs over a tackler, and into the end zone. Dennis Rogan finishes off that run by leveling a Mustang and taking it in from 18 yards out in a big, big score for the Fulton Falcons.
Watch this hit at the end of the play. We talk about Rogan as a power runner, that actually a speed runner that's got power. Inside handoff, good seals on the inside, but at the end he lowers his shoulder, just flat out runs over Connor Prady. Let's take one more look at that right at you. You get to see what kind of force he just knocked Prady backwards as he stepped into the end zone.
Now they'll go for 2, as they have all year long, trying to make it 16-0. Here's a quick slant, and a great catch by Victor Smith. Brings it down, and it is 16-0 for the Falcons. So Victor Smith has caught 2 two-point conversion receptions. 1 on a fade and 1 on a slant, and that was a dart. And he went up and snagged it with 2 hands.
Well, it sure was. The ball thrown a little behind him, but a nice athletic catch to bring it in. But certainly Fulton in a very solid position right now. A 16-point lead is going to be tough for Lipscomb to overcome. Offense has been so tough to grind it out on the ground for Lipscomb, and you got to figure as we're inside of 3 minutes in the 3rd quarter, Lipscomb's going to have to try to find a way to pick up some yardage and points quickly, which may mean they're going to look to the air.
6 plays and 58 yards leading to the Rogan touchdown, and with Rogan scoring there, that ties him for the single season scoring record in TSSAA history. And if he scores any more points, he will set the record. What a fantastic career that young man has had. And he's going to continue by heading to Knoxville to play for the Volunteers. So we'll stay right there in his hometown.
He does the kicking off as well. You saw him with the tee in his hand getting ready to set it down there, talking to one of the officials.
Fulton has made their hay with some very, very good second halves over the years in their big games. And in the semifinal, make it the quarterfinals, 2 weeks ago at Knoxville Catholic, the only team that has beaten them this year. They were down 13-0 in that game with 8.5 minutes to play and scored 18 unanswered to stay alive. So that was the big clutch win to get here. Kickoff is short. Davis loses it for a moment. It's still loose on the turf. Who has it?
I think Davis found a way to reel it back in after the big hit, and he does.
Well, a giant play by Davis to recover on that. That could have been disastrous.
Boy, just a dangerous return as he was going full speed. The ball at his knees. Just scooped it up with that right arm after it was on the ground. It could have been anybody's ball, and that's fortunate for Lipscomb to get it back.
Looked like a center fielder coming in on one of those Texas leaguers. Those little bloops. He couldn't quite get there. A little tougher to catch a football than a baseball.
No glove.
Here's Hunt setting up a screen. Elrod makes the catch, but he's behind the line of scrimmage, and he is cut down by Blake Gildner. So the Falcons have all the momentum now, and Lipscomb is backed up. Loss of 4.
Boy, they sure are, and Lipscomb just unable to get in any kind of sync. As you take a good look at Gildner right there. Nice job of shedding off a blocker and then making an open field tackle against Elrod, but Elrod just unable to break free of Gildner or anybody else for that matter.
So Fulton with all the momentum now as we go inside of 2 minutes. Glenn McAdams may have to go deep into the playbook here. They need to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Hunt rolling, has time, he has some nice blockers, throws deep, looking for Ben Lenning. He's got it. You want a rabbit out of the hat? There you go. Ben Lenning all the way for a touchdown. 84 yards, and Lipscomb is back in it.
Wow. Willie, you said it. It was time for a big play going in the playbook. Lenning finds himself free for an 84-yard touchdown. The long for Hunt this year coming in is 75. You'll see play action pitch to the right, rolling to the left. Hunt able to set his feet and loop one up there. The defender, number 9, Derek Humphrey, made a play for the ball, and that was a devastating mistake. As we see the ball floated just over the extended arms of Humphrey, and it was a foot race that Lenning wins.
Matt Elrod did a tremendous job blocking the defensive end there to give Hunt just enough time to let Lenning release. Now they go for 2. It's a big 2-point conversion. They run the option, and it is Moneypenny taking it in. Very well conceived option play. Moneypenny makes it 16-8. And so just like that, an offense that did not appear to have the big play capability chews up 84 yards, and it is now a 1-score game.
Well, just well-executed pitch, and who else is out front but Matt Elrod getting a nice block, and it's just walking in the end zone for Moneypenny.
Well, that's part of being a great football player. Matt Elrod has chewed up a lot of yards on the ground all year, over 1,600, but 2 huge blocks on the last 2 plays to pick up the 8 points. So 73 yards. Remember, they went backwards.
Yeah,
start.
Only 2 plays, though. Lost a yard on the pass to Elrod. Was more than made up by that long pass. So Lipscomb finds themselves right back in the middle of this. Minute 42 to go in the 3rd quarter, and you see Glenn McAdams realizing that was exactly what his offense needed.
So Darrell Lyons will kick it off at a 31. And so now some life from the Lipscomb fans.
Boy, and it was a great response to Rogan's touchdown to put Fulton up by 16. Cut that deficit in half in 2 plays.
Freeney is back deep. Here's another line drive kick. Rogan snags it again at the 30, and there he goes. Look out, Dennis Rogan. He's cut down at midfield. Wow, I'm not sure why. That must have been something they saw on tape to have Rogan there. Haven't seen enough tape of Lipscomb to notice whether they're trying to do that at every play, but it's certainly nice for Fulton that Rogan is positioned right there, and that's the 2nd one that he's been able to pick up off the turf. But boy, he dished out some punishment as he went down there.
Willie, it's a great comment. Normally you don't have your best athlete on the 2nd line. You have him back at, for deep. But they put him there for a reason. Twice now he's got the ball, and this time he brings it to midfield.
It's a great field position for the Falcons as they try to answer. And look for number 6 to get a lot of the work. See how much steam David Lipscomb has left in the tank here. Here's Rogan, breaking it into the secondary, runs over a tackler, and gets inside the 30. Brady hung on for dear life to the ankle of Rogan to save a touchdown.
Well,
21 yards, excuse me, John.
Brady's going to have nightmares tonight of number 6 just barreling down right at him in the open field. Rogan ran through Brady for the 2nd score for Fulton, and this time as he comes around the end just with a gaping wide open hole, and a lot of green. Finds Prady is the only guy between him and the end zone.
Rogan now over 100 yards, and you can tell he's hungry. He wants the ball. Different formation here. Rogan goes in motion, and he'll take the handoff. He'll take it straight up the gut and get down to the 25. So the Mustangs backed up again. Fulton knocking on the door. Binkley and Tenpenny combined to make the stop.
We talked about how big plays is one of the keys. And big plays, the running back, the main guy, heating up right now. 79 yards in the second half. Of course, in the first half, he only had 41, so he's almost doubled it in the third quarter.
This offense had the ball only 5 minutes out of the 24 in the first half. So they're fresh. Up the middle they go. And here's Winters dragging a tackler forward, and he will have a first down inside the 20-yard line. Evan Webb was able to wrestle him down, but not before they will move the chains.
Well, you talked all the attention going to Rogan, really allows some of the other players for Fulton to participate and contribute, and that time just a nice inside handoff and another big gain.
So first down, the clock will run down, and that will kill the third quarter. So when we pick up action in the fourth quarter, Fulton will have the ball in the booze it and lose it red zone. 16-8, entertaining third quarter. Lipscomb hanging around, but they'll need a big stop. Play by Dale Binkley, who just sniffed out number 6 and went right at him.
Boy, and that is just one of your interior linemen flying from his position. Nothing on the inside, and that's because big number 50 stepped into the hole and made good contact with Rogan.
So a loss of 1 in the play. Remember, Fulton has no field goal kicking game. They do not do it.
Haven't attempted one all year.
No. And the fumble on the exchange, and Stinson has to fall on it, and so it'll bring up 3rd and long. We'll take a look at our stats at the end of 3 quarters, John, and the Falcons starting to assert themselves offensively in that quarter.
In particular, those rushing yards jumped hugely. We talked 79 yards in the third quarter by Rogan alone, and that gets them closer to their average. Total yards still pretty close, but it's the turnovers that have been one of the keys.
So a big 3rd down coming up here. After the fumble, 3rd and 11. The Falcons are 4 and 7 on 3rd down conversion. Stinson looking to throw, rolls out, fires over the middle, and it's caught. Freeney makes the catch inside the 5. He lost it at the last moment, and they're calling it down at the 3. They're going to have a little discussion on this, whether he dropped it or not. The Mustangs are all waving as if the pass was incomplete. Big huddle. And this is a huge call.
I have not seen an incomplete, and there it is.
Well, they talked about it for a while. Let's take a look. It appeared that Stinson put it right on the money to Freeney.
But Fulton really spread out the Lipscomb defense, which opened this seam right there. Boy, it sure looked like a catch to me.
Well, you see it there on the bottom. Now a flag.
There's one right in the living room. Well, I think that's a catch right there. And knee goes down before the ball comes out. Of course, there's no replay in high school. Clearly possession, knee down, and then the ball comes out. I think that was a catch, Willie.
It was a great hit to jar it loose, but it did appear that Ken Tyson pulled it in. Now a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct is going to send them way back.
Well, that may have been on the left guard, the senior James Higgins. You can ill afford.
It will be 4th down. And correctly, it was after the play, so they are going to make this a 4th down and 26. So a big turn of events here in a window of opportunity for the Mustangs. So it'll be 4th and 26. The ball is at 32. They've got to get down to the 8. Stinson's going to look deep. He's got time. He's got all day. There's a lot of defenders back there still looking. He throws. It's tipped in the air and knocked down. A nice play by the linebacker. And it was Matt Elrod that went up there and tipped it. So the ball will be turned over, and Lipscomb has it back.
Stinson trying to make something happen. Absolutely no pressure on him at all, but Lipscomb doing a good job of taking away the deep threat, the deep pass. And as Stinson tries to zip one out there, it gets knocked to the ground.
He wanted to go to Freeney, but Elrod did a good job staying in his lane and getting up there to deflect that ball. So Lipscomb has it, and they've got decent field position here at the 32. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They scored on their last drive. They go to the air. Elrod has room, a lot of room. He leaps over a tackler. He's headed down the sideline. It's a foot race. Elrod to the 10 and knocked out of bounds at the 5. But a flag is down. Flag is down back at the 45. And it is against David Lipscomb.
Block in the back. Wow, Willie, we have seen a couple of very ill-timed penalties against David Lipscomb, who has not been a very penalized team this year at all, and this one hurts. What a huge play. What a great athletic move by Matt Elrod. We'll take a look at that here in a second, but for right now, it is all coming back.
It appeared to be the first block that Elrod got right after he caught the ball. There was one defender out there.
During the run, we have a block in the back. Offense. We'll repeat first down.
Watch as Elrod catches it here, John. Let's see if that's where it happened.
Good play action. Elrod slips in the flat. Oh, that was it right there. Ben Lenning, number 44.
Very close. The question is, did he get the head out? They're always looking at the head. Did they get the head out in front of the shoulder? Very close. Ben Lenning, who just scored the 84-yard touchdown before, called for the penalty. So first and long. But because it was a spot of the foul penalty, it's still first and 10. So Lipscomb can go back to work. Antonio Hamilton swallowed up Matt Elrod on that play.
Well, you've got to take advantage of big plays when they present themselves. And penalties can absolutely kill you, as well as turnovers. But it's been penalties that have hurt Lipscomb and turnovers that have really slowed down Fulton today.
Well, we have seen a lot here in the last few minutes. The 84-yard touchdown. And then the catch that was ruled an incomplete pass, where it appeared that Ken Tyson had made a catch at the 3-yard line. Then an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and then that big swing holding penalty. Now we have a sack. And that'll bring up third and long as the pocket just collapsed around Brad Hunt.
James Higgins was part of that right there, the big defensive tackle. And he's a big guy, 6'3", 298.
You're 298, and you're the third heaviest guy along that front.
Junior.
On the offensive side, anyway.
Well, he's taking up some space on the inside, putting pressure. You know, all of these players for Fulton, even the big guys, appear to be very athletic. Good footwork is what's key for these big guys, and guys like Higgins certainly showing how to do that.
Brad Hunt has thrown the ball well here. Third and 11. They need a big play here. And can they give him the time to throw that he needs? They move the pocket out. The pass is almost intercepted. Mathis made a great tip, and he almost was able to bring it down and head for the end zone.
Wow. Take a look at it from behind. It's the look you'll see that Hunt has, and he's trying to zip it out there. A good job of Mathis getting his hands up, then almost makes the big play to catch it in the air. Would have been another interception.
You go back to that block in the back by that young man, Ben Lenning. It was very close. I have to say, John, I would say that was the right call. And the question was, did he need to make that block? Elrod may have been able to spring free without the block.
It looked like Elrod was already past him.
And here is a short punt by Lenning. Lipscomb trying to get a big bounce, and they get a good one. This will give them an extra 7 or 8 yards at least. And they'll down it at the 37. 8:26 to play. Lipscomb hanging around, almost busted it open, and we're on the doorstep to tie this thing. They'll need to get the ball back. Here's another look at the illegal block by Ben Lenning. And the question is, John, was Elrod going to get there past Freeney, number 7 there, without the help of that block?
Yeah, that's a tough call. Freeney was starting from a dead stop. Elrod had a big momentum ahead of steam. I'm not sure if he would have gotten there.
Rogan churns out another big run, about 13 yards right to midfield before Ben Lenning and Thomas Scott brought him down. But Ben Lenning, you can't ever fault the guy for trying to make a big block to spring a guy for a big play. And he came within inches of making a great block, but that's the game of football. So close on those illegal blocks. People are always saying when they watch football games, why is it so often you get a block in the back, especially on kick returns?
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it looks sometimes.
Absolutely not. You're trying to execute, trying to make a play, and sometimes you just make the wrong decision.
First down at midfield for the Falcons, trying to churn out the clock here. Rogan. A short gain on first down, gang tackle. Ben Lenning leading the way. So Lipscomb, several big swing plays that have gone against them. Even though they've done a lot of things that they've wanted to do in this game. They have the advantage in time of possession. That was one of our keys to the game. They had the ball for, what was it, John, 15 minutes? 18 minutes of the first half.
And Rogan really getting going now, approaching the 100-yard mark for the second half alone.
Mustangs need to get the ball back one more time, and they go to the fullback, Winters. He is going to get very close to a first down, loses the helmet as Dale Binkley brings him down. Winters has been a tough player on both sides of the ball today, running lead blocks from his fullback position and playing linebacker as well.
Yeah, that's just a quick hitter right up the middle, and Dale Binkley doing a good job bringing him down, knocking the helmet off, and they'll clean him up or get some repair done on that helmet to keep it on better next time.
The Falcons would love to continue to keep that clock moving. Third down and very short. Power eye set. They got the big fella in the backfield leading the way. There's Rogan trying to get around Brady. And Rogers makes the tackle across the 40, but they will move the chains. This is an interesting set. I didn't get a number on that Big Mac truck they put in the backfield, John, but they put the big fella back there on the lead block. Let's take a look at it if we can.
What Fulton tried to do was run it off tackle. Big number 89 out there, but
it's Antonio Hamilton.
Holy cow.
Who is a giant, leading the way there on that block. 294 pounds. And Rogan starting to get the kind of numbers that he's been used to getting.
So you recall he was at 41 at the half, so he's 99 in the second half.
Rogan up the middle again, behind that big offensive line. Clock keeps moving, and it's a good gain on first down.
And I think we'll see a steady diet of this. There's no reason for Fulton to drop back and throw the ball now, certainly in this part of the field as they approach the red zone, and the clock continuing to tick at 5:40 in the third quarter.
Rogan has gotten over 100 in the second half, John.
106, so he definitely made some adjustments and has found a few more holes out front to run through.
Power eye set again, and they're going to blow this one dead before. Looks like perhaps a false start as they put the big fella back there again, Antonio Hamilton.
Dead ball, false start, offense. Repeat second down.
Well, Fulton a couple of times has gotten down here and shot themselves in the foot. And so now they'll have a 2nd and 8 coming up. Let's go down to Rachel quickly.
A student with a heart of gold. There's a young boy by the name of Chris Isbell that was recently diagnosed with cancer and undergoing chemotherapy right now, and he is a huge fan of Rogan's. He showed up to one of the practices, and Rogan gave him his t-shirt and has given this young boy his total and utter most respect and lots of support. Back to you guys in the booth.
And right on cue, Rogan takes it down to the 10-yard line on a big gainer on second down. That'll give the Falcons a 1st and goal right at the 10-yard line. Connor Brady saved the touchdown. But it looked like they might have a shot to get him in the backfield, and as soon as he found that seam, he really accelerated.
I was thinking the same thing, Willie, is Fulton now is in the booze it and lose it red zone. Would appear to be just a simple play and maybe a no gainer on the left side turned into a big gainer, and Fulton now knocking on the door, 1st and goal.
Fulton trying to go in for the kill here. They score a touchdown. It could put it out of reach. Here's Rogan. Gets down to the 6. Tenpenny on the tackle. This Lipscomb team has been tough, playing against this Fulton team that has the big size advantage. I was talking to Gary Rankin, the Alcoa head coach, last night, who just led his team to a state championship. They played Fulton and played them to a very tight game early in the season back on September the 8th, the 24-21 win for Fulton. He said Fulton might be as good as any team here today or over the weekend in the BlueCross Bowls. It's a big, fast, and mean. Here's Rogan with blockers in front. And he's into the end zone. Dennis Rogan sets the record for points scored in a season. And he puts Fulton up 22-8 with the extra points to come.
Well, his 81st touchdown, that's amazing. And he needs to buy those linemen a steak dinner tonight for all that they've done. But just a nice cutback that time, good vision to take it into the end zone.
So Rogan now is within one touchdown of tying the single-season touchdown record in TSSAA history. It remains to be seen if he'll have a chance to do that. Rogan takes the snap here on the conversion. He throws it, and it is good. For the third time, Fulton connects on the two-point conversion, and JaMychal Mathis is able to make the catch on this one. And it was Jock Stinson that took the snap, my mistake. I saw 6 instead of 5, so Stinson is 3 for 3 on two-point conversion. So it's 24-8, and Fulton takes the lead, and they have 16 points as the cushion with less than 4 minutes to play. And now it's time to take a look at our crystal sack of the game. There's been some good heat put on Brad Hunt. He's handled it well, but there is Mathis and Cobb, who have been very, very tough to block for the Mustangs, and they have played a big role in this game.
Boy, Mathis has really been a contributor. Gets the two-point conversion on offense that time, but it's his defensive play from that end position where he has really contributed, put a lot of pressure on Brad Hunt, has brought him down a time or two, but more than anything has been in the middle of anything.
56 yards for Rogan out of the 63.
And the key there, Willie, 4.5-minute drive as they're trying to run clock out. This is such a big play, high-powered offense for them to grind it out, pick up 3 first downs, all on the ground. Was exactly what the doctor ordered, just not leaving much time at all for Lipscomb to make a last-minute run.
If you're just joining us, Lipscomb had the ball for 19 minutes of the first half, but didn't score. They were down 8-0. They fumbled it one time, and Terrence Cobb scooped it up and went 47 yards for a touchdown. They led it 8-0 at the half. They've added 2 more scores here. Lipscomb hit the big play to make it 16-8. Here's Kevin Davis, and he is wrapped up at the 26. So the Mustangs will have a long way to go to try to get a quick score. They need 2 scores to get back into this one.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts left. Of course, Fulton's not going to look to use any of theirs right now, but Lipscomb will have to go into the 2-minute drill, utilize the out of bounds, try to keep the ball on the perimeter, run out of bounds where you can.
Three timeouts left for the Mustangs. Hunt, the throw it. Pump and go, looking for Rogers, and it's over his head, making Brady. But very good coverage by Derek Humphrey. Very good technique. Humphrey's been tested in the one-on-one fade pattern a couple of times today, and he's looked good on both of them.
You know, all the defensive backs, as we look at some numbers for Moneypenny, who's been very productive. At long 22, he had 1 called back that was even longer than that, but 65 yards is a good positive day for him.
And Lipscomb looks back on the tape of this game, the 2 big penalties that negated big, long plays for them will really stick in their mind because they both ended up costing them a very short time later. They set up a screen. Elrod has it. He's got a little room, and he gets out to the 35. He'll be close to a first down, a couple of yards short. Dennis Freeney made the tackle. But in the first half, Moneypenny broke off consecutive big runs. The second one was called back, and then 2 plays later, Cobb had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. And then minutes ago, when they had cut it to 16-8 and they had the ball, an apparent long pass to Elrod was negated by an illegal block.
Both those plays ended in the red zone, but were called back.
Quick throw out to the outside. It's complete. It'll be a first down catch. And getting out of bounds well were the Mustangs there. Brady makes the catch. Moves the chains to stop the clock by getting out of bounds. So Connor Brady, he's been tough today as well. 150 pounds, and he has been in the middle of the action, has an interception, And he's been butting heads with Dennis Rogan a lot today. And Rogan is a big, strong back. I should say a thick back. He's not necessarily a big back. But Philip Fulmer will have some options with how to use him. You wonder if he translates to a running back or a defensive back on the college level. I mean, obviously, his first look will be at running back, but I've seen Philip Fulmer take really good high school running backs and put them in different places for the Volunteers.
It's a good question. There's no, you don't know how much more he's going to grow and how much more mass he's going to put on his body. That in part will determine what happens.
And look at this, Elrod breaks through. He's got one man to beat. He's still on his feet, inside the 10, and he's out of bounds at the 2. So Matt Elrod breaks a big long run, and that's exactly what the Mustangs needed. Dennis Freeney saves the touchdown as Elrod breaks it for 59.
Handoff up the middle, good block, and it's a foot race. Elrod runs through a tackler at the end. That 59 yards is his long for the day. Just ran out of gas right there at the very end.
They'll mark it down inside the 2, and the tip of the ball is touching the 1. So Lipscomb needs to score right here. They've been running that play all year long. That's one of their bread and butter plays that they've been running for years, and Elrod popped that one. They give it to Elrod again, and he is into the end zone. So Lipscomb not going down quietly here. It's 24-14, and the Lipscomb Mustangs will line up and go for 2.
Boy, so that was a quick answer, Willie, and that's exactly what Lipscomb needed. And you sense that when Elrod got all the way down there at the end of that long run, they were going to give it to him again, and he just dives across the end zone.
So here's a very important 2-point conversion to try to get it back to a 1-score game. Fulton's 3 for 3 on 2-point conversions. This is Lipscomb's second shot. They run the option again. Moneypenny sniffing it out, dives, somersaults, and comes up short. A great tackle by Freeney to stop him a yard short. And so it's a 10-point game.
Well, that means 2 scores, but 2 touchdowns. And a good collision at the end of this play. This is the option that they executed successfully for the 2-point conversion earlier. Freeney comes off the corner, breaks free of that block off of Rogers. Get another look at it from the near sideline. And somersault. Ball comes loose.
What a play by Ken Tyson to come in and take the legs out from under Moneypenny. It was the same play they ran on that first 2-point conversion. They got it easily the first time. So there's the drive, and the key is 1:06. It didn't take much time to do it. Elrod cashes in from a yard out. That is Elrod's 21st touchdown of the season.
And with that big gain in that drive, he breaks the 100-yard mark himself for rushing. He'd trade all those yards in right now for at least one more possession. That's exactly what Lipscomb's going to need. We saw these last time. Fulton had a nice long sustained drive of about 4.5 minutes. Each team again has all 3 timeouts left.
Buck Courtney was starting the celebration, then all of a sudden Elrod pops that long run on just a simple dive play up the middle. So that was something he was not expecting. Now the Mustangs are lined up. They have to onside kick here. They need 2 scores. They still do have 3 timeouts, but they've got to get the ball back here. Here's the boot. They need the big bounce. It's loose. Still on the turf. It's anybody's ball. Who's got it? Lipscomb hopes they have it. They're trying to pull the bodies off the pile. Lipscomb trying to get it back. And Fulton has it. A big-time recovery, and I'm telling you, there was panic on that sideline for a moment on the Fulton end because that ball was loose.
And you don't know how many times the ball exchanged hands in the middle of that scrum, but it was well executed. It's exactly what you want to do is get the ball on the ground. And it's a scrum from there.
Well, Smith hits it first, number 4, and he's on the hands team. He's a good wide receiver, hits him there, and then once he loses it, it's anybody's ball.
Lipscomb thought they had it when it was free on the ground.
Just could not come up with it. You couldn't tell really who did get it.
Nope.
So the ball is at the 47, 2:46 to go. Lipscomb does have 3 timeouts, but they'll have to stop that man. And Rogan loses it. It's on the ground, and Rogan appears to have gotten it back. So another tense moment there for Fulton.
Boy, just when you think things are kind of in check, big plays, fumbles, onside kicks. It's these kids are playing all the way to the end, Willie.
Timeout Lipscomb. That's the first of 3. You figure Buck Coatney will run it a couple more times with Rogan, take his chances, and force Lipscomb to use their 2 remaining timeouts.
Yeah, you need Fulton will look to pick up. I think if they pick up 2 first downs, even if Lipscomb burns their timeouts, 2 first downs would really run the clock out. It's been an exciting second half, Willie. After a pretty slow first half, not a lot of scoring. It's been everything but that in the second half.
Well, the one big play that turned it was Cobb's fumble recovery in that first half. Otherwise, it was a very evenly played first half. So it was really tough for Lipscomb to come out down by 8 because they are not a team that wants to come from behind. They haven't had to come from behind very often, although in the quarterfinals a couple of weeks ago, they made a great comeback against Giles County.
You see Matt Elrod has been a big reason that Lipscomb is still in this thing, but they've got their work cut out for them.
2nd and long. And this time, it's Freeney taking the snap at quarterback. They put him back there a few times today, and he runs for short yardage. Safe play, and he'll get a few yards, and they'll stop the clock at 2:29 as Lipscomb takes their 2nd timeout.
It is a safe play to direct snap it to a runner and not have to worry about an exchange or a pitch. Lipscomb quickly calls the timeout.
And Buck Coatney, you could tell after Rogan maybe got the yips a little bit on that first fumble. I mean, he's been very, very reliable throughout the year, but they didn't want to give it to him 2 times in a row. We'll see if they go back to him here.
Rogan getting the better of the running back matchup today, and really the majority of the yards for both Rogan and Elrod have come in the second half. Of course, Rogan with the 2 touchdowns, Elrod with the 1 after the long gainer and then the short touchdown run. But the key is for Lipscomb to make a stop right here, and they're talking about it in their huddle on the other side. Buck Coatney saying, guys, one more time, we got to pick up a first down.
251 total yards on the ground for Fulton, 143 for Lipscomb. Rogan has 141 yards in the second half. And he, because of that, is our best one tire player of the game. 2 touchdowns for Rogan. They fake it, and here's a play right up the middle to Freeney, and he has the first down, and that's pretty much going to do it, as Lipscomb will have to use their final timeout, but Fulton will get a new set of downs. A play we have not seen all day. Buck Coatney with a really nice play call here, and look at the hole he has to run through.
Boy, Rogan draws a lot of attention, and that great sell of a pitch, and then just a reverse up the middle, a gaping hole. Great job by the interior of that offensive line, and Freeney moves the chains.
So 11 yards for Freeney, and the celebration is about to start over in Knox County. The Fulton Falcons are going to win their 3rd state title. And here's Rogan looking for the icing on the cake. He almost busted it through there. Remember, he's 1 touchdown away from tying a record that is held by 2 players, Kelsey Williams from Humboldt, who scored 48 touchdowns in 1 year, and it was matched by Ralph King under Gary Rankin's Riverdale Warrior team back in 2000. That is a lot of scores.
That is a lot of scoring. You're absolutely right, and you can see why he's done it. Very impressive player.
So 9 more for Rogan. He's up to 192. DeMarcus Stevens, a tremendous defensive end and tight end, was nominated for Mr. Football in 02 and 03 for a couple of Buck Coatney's really good teams. He didn't win the award, but he was the MVP of the BlueCross Bowl both times. And this could be the same thing for Rogan, as he was, I wouldn't say snubbed, but he did not win. That's a tough competition, that Mr. Football. 3 of the best players in the state. He did not win it. He was nominated. And so he could win the MVP. It looks like he's going to, at least on the offensive side here today. Minute 18 to go. Final timeout taken by Lipscomb. And the Fulton Falcons simply want to continue to run it out. They don't even have to run a play here, John. They could probably just kneel on it a couple of times.
I think you're right, and you look at the dejection and the heartbreak by these Lipscomb Mustangs. They had a great year all year and really played well, in particular in the first half, kept this thing close and fought tooth and nail all the way to the very end, but just unable to overcome and sustain against this Fulton Falcons team. But a great effort nonetheless. This is the kind of effort you want out of your guys in a state championship game, and sometimes you just can't come up short.
Glenn McAdams said earlier in the week, he felt like if his team didn't play its very best, they could get embarrassed. And today they played very, very well. 2 or 3 key plays. The fumble, obviously, that turned directly into a touchdown, and then the 2 penalties that called back big plays. But that just shows you the margin for error they had to work with here. There's Rogan. Rogan cutting back, stutter steps, gets inside the 20, and that'll keep the clock moving. We're down close to a minute. So Dennis Rogan is going to finish up a fantastic high school career. Played on the state championship team for Fulton 2 years ago. This is a program that continues to churn out really good teams year after year with some outstanding players. Buck Coatney does an excellent job. Inside of a minute, the power eye set. And they'll give it to Rogan again. Rogan getting closer to that end zone. And that's another first down. Dennis Rogan officially has won the TSSAA Offensive MVP for the BlueCross Bowl. With his numbers, he's now up to 199 yards rushing, and he will, with that last carry, get over 200. For defense, Terrence Cobb picks up the MVP with the fumble recovery for a touchdown. He had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and that forced fumble. I have to say, Jermichael Mathis would be a close second to Cobb.
Sure
Those
would.
2 have been a dynamic duo. And that should do it. The Gatorade toss on Coach Coatney gets the reaction, and the final tick are going to run out. Buck Coatney has his 3rd state championship for the Fulton Falcons, and they are your 3A BlueCross Bowl champions. Congratulations to Fulton. The celebration is on. What a really, really good football team. Awfully tough. Speed and the size and the mental toughness.
Boy, and in the second half in particular, their guy, Dennis Rogan, stepped up. 167 of his rushing yards came in the second half. He finished with over 200 for the game, and he made the difference, in my opinion, when it mattered.
So the celebration is on. Teams congratulating each other. Well-played football game. No doubt about it. A couple of big swing plays turned out to be the difference. And Dennis Rogan, as we mentioned, finishing up a tremendous high school career. 81 scores, 5,200 plus yards, and he has been the workhorse. 33 carries today, and on the year, he had 343 carries. That is amazing.
Boy, and he was their main guy the whole way, and really nobody could stop him all year long.
And Lipscomb did a very good job for a half. Let's go down to Rachel Bernard and check in with Coach Buck Coatney.
Coach, your offense really stepped it up in the second half. Tell me what this win means to you guys.
Well, I mean, what a great tribute right here. You know, we felt like, honestly, that we have the best football player in Tennessee, and I think today, you know, he rushed for over 200 yards, I believe, and, you know, he stepped it up big for us, and offense picked it up in the second half, and, you know, give hats off to Lipscomb. You know, they did a good job. They did some things offensively that's hurt us that we had, you know, they hadn't done. So, but hats off to them guys. They didn't quit.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys in the booth.
Well, you can tell that they were a little disappointed that Dennis Rogan did not win the Mr. Football Award, but a very nice, I don't even want to say consolation prize. That's what every player goes out to do, is to win the state championship. So Dennis Rogan helps his team do that. There's the trophy, and Fulton is your winner, 24-14.
Relive all the excitement and hard-hitting action.
3A champions for the 3rd time in 4 years under Coach Buck Coatney. Congratulations to Dennis Rogan and company. David Lipscomb takes their 3rd runner-up in the last 4 years as well. A great season for Glenn McAdams. We are just getting started. 2 more games coming up. Mark Howard and Pat Sperduto have the call of the 4A championship game, Maryville and Hillsboro, and then the nightcap, Smyrna and Ravenwood for the 5A title. Stay with us.